right, ladies and gentlemen.
7. You can't eat during the podcast, put that aside.
Right, okay. This is the second time that we have recorded this because last time it just wasn't recording because I forgot.
We sat here for about an hour answering these questions. We're like, sweet, we're done. We check the computer.
Worst feeling ever as a content creator.
You describe yourself as a content creator?
I do.
That's not how I would describe myself.
All right. I'm a little sick, guys. I'm a little bamboozled, so if you can tell I'm a little crying and the snotty nose, that's why. It's not because of feelings or anything.
It's because of his feelings. He got his feelings
I have
hurt
no feelings
by the computer.
because I'm a man.
That was two untrue things, one after the other.
All right. Welcome back to episode 7. Episode 7. Oh my gosh. That's
Of
so cool.
On the Fence Podcast. Today we are answering all the questions that were submitted through our Instagram account.
Slash YouTube slash more Instagram slash DMs.
Okay, question number 1. If you could move to another country for a year, where would you go?
Europe.
That's
Europe's
not a country.
cool.
That's a continent.
It is country. Europe's a country.
It's an area of the world.
Fine. I mean, France.
France. Okay.
Yeah, France. Paris, to be more specific.
Okay.
The Eiffel Tower, to be more specific.
So illegal.
Yeah, I'll be living in the Eiffel Tower. I'm gonna do that for a year. I would totally do that for a year.
I would go back to Greece for a year. For me, it doesn't really matter the place so much as the people, as long as they have fresh fruit and vegetables available, and it's not more expensive than
This is crazy.
everything else.
This is like the second time I've heard all of this.
And a place to run would be nice.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really want to leave here for a year.
I saw all the social media Greece stuff that you posted. Greece looks really cool. I've never been there personally, but I feel like I have with all the stuff you posted.
I only posted one thing.
And they got like really pretty atmosphere too, right? Like mountains, Mount Olympus, mountain goats, fruit, fresh stuff, fresh people, all that kind of jazz.
Okay, we're done with that. Anyways, this is why you don't try and record the same podcast twice in one day, because somebody's brain gets fried. Second question, a little bit of spice in this question. Do you still have the same or some of the same?
Wait. I didn't answer my Europe question.
Yes, you did.
I would live in Paris because it's really pretty there.
How do you know?
I know because I've been there. In my dreams, but I've been there before. I watch Ratatouille, so basically if you watch Ratatouille, basically I've been there.
A lot of Europe, including Greece and Paris, is kind of dirty.
I know, that's why I wouldn't live in the dirty
way,
parts.
But just like
I'd live in the pretty, clean parts.
That's not how it works.
And they got the Eiffel Tower, which is really pretty, and good food, good music, good language. I could learn.
Do you speak French?
I could learn French. Good bread. Probably got good bread there too, I've heard. I think I'm definitely going to visit there. I don't even know if I'm going to live there, but I'm definitely going to visit there. Because it's cool. What else? Mexico. Mexico seems cool. And Canada. Yeah. Canada.
Okay.
Just kidding. Not Canada. Jerusalem.
Why not?
I've been to Jerusalem before, and I would actually love to go to Jerusalem.
You're mixing cities with countries. You mean Israel?
Yeah, but more specifically, Jerusalem.
Okay.
I know Israel is the country, and Jerusalem is the city because I've been there. Anyways, next question.
Do you still have the same or some of the same Christian beliefs?
I hate having to answer this question twice. Well, just to sum it up.
Our parents used to be pretty hardcore Christians, and they were
pretty
very
hardcore
strict.
Christians. Pretty hardcore Christians.
Very strict. So we were raised that way, and then our parents have since expanded or changed their beliefs,
transitioned into
something.
different legends.
Yeah. Anyways, that's their story. You can go check it out. Fight for Together, Everyone Belongs, or Ben Crawford, or Cammy Crawford. I don't know, somewhere.
But how it affected us, it affected me a lot, mostly because I guess when I was younger, my parents, it just like affected a lot of parenting, like Christianity affects like a lot of parenting, like how to raise your kid, what's good and what's bad, blah, blah, blah. And now I just see it similar, not like very similarly, but just like a whole different way, like more like mind opened.
Elaborate.
Because when I was like a Christian, I was like, oh, this is the one way, this is the right way, and this is the only way.
Don't have sex before marriage.
Yeah, all that. What else?
So have you followed that?
Don't steal. Yeah, I followed Don't Steal. And another one. Just a bunch of rules. Oh, yeah, just like trying to make disciples and stuff. But.
Wait, are you trying to make disciples?
I hate making this again. Dude, we recorded this podcast and it was perfect.
Don't sentence.
And now it's not perfect anymore. Now we have to make it all again.
Okay. Open your eyes a little more. You're like falling asleep. Okay. So your Christian beliefs have changed, but would you still call yourself a Christian?
I wouldn't call myself a traditional Christian.
What would you
I don't go to church.
But you would call yourself
I don't pray very often. Actually, I don't really.
That just sounds like a bad Christian.
Yeah, I'm just a bad Christian. That's what you call it. But I do not believe in the same things that I used to believe because, yeah, that was a really long time ago and that was really different.
Wait, so what do you believe now?
I believe some stuff in the Bible is true, like Jesus dying for our sins. Adam and Eve probably were the first people on planet Earth to
exist.
Wait,
so you think there are sins?
What
makes something a sin and what makes something not a sin?
I don't really know about the sin stuff. There's so much that I don't know that I can't like decipher for myself, and that's why like I don't really get when Christians act like they know so much and they're like, this is the only way, this is the right way, when I'm like, dude, you got that from either your dad or the Bible or
people on this planet and you're the only one who has caused trouble
or something. I don't understand why they think that their way is the only way. And I literally just talked about this, but thinking of a baby who got aborted, who never got the chance to live, or a homeless person who never got the chance to see who Jesus was, or however you want to put it, or become a Christian.
Or just someone in a different country who
yeah,
never
for
had
someone
access to a Bible, or
for someone who just doesn't have access to the qualities that we had access to. Like, what's going to happen to those people? Apparently, they're going to go to hell. That's what Christians believe. Which is, like, I don't think is cool because it's not fair because they never got the chance to decide for themselves. They don't even know what Christianity is.
They didn't see all the options.
They're just trying to survive, yeah.
I'm not a Christian anymore.
Good to know.
Yep.
All right, we're going to stop it there because we're going to keep this for another topic, actually. We'll leave it at that. Eden is no longer a Christian. Booyah. Okay. We're just going to move on to the next question because that's a huge rabbit hole.
Next question. Favorite book or podcast?
1 second. I'm going to turn this down.
The only podcast that I consistently listen to at the moment is Stuff You Should Know, which is just, they pick a topic.
Educational?
And they research it.
Oh, the podcast Stuff You Should Know.
Yeah, and then they talk about it, which I really like because they talk about all sorts of things. But it's like you learn a lot listening to them. Mm-hmm. That's where I got my education. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, totally.
Favorite podcast?
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan because I like how he interviews like the richest and most well-known celebrities of the world and just getting their insight on life and perspective on how they grew up, and it's just like really interesting. If I'm working, I just like tune on some Joe Rogan and continue about my day. But I don't listen to a whole lot of podcasts, to be honest with you.
Me neither.
That and then also Logan Paul's podcast. I listen to a little.
You listen to
bit.
Logan Paul's podcast?
A little bit, yeah.
What does he talk about?
I don't know, some like interesting stuff about, well, like he's all over the place, but he kind of does like what Joe Rogan does, like inviting people on and interviewing them instead of like talking about himself most of the time, which is actually pretty admirable because admirable because of how egotistic he is. He just like wants to mostly talk about himself, but
like
he doesn't for a change.
We're talking about ourselves right now.
Kind of, yeah. And then
books.
That's it for podcasts, yeah.
I like a lot of classics. Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, the Little House on the Prairie books, until I found out that they're mostly fictional. Andrew Gables.
When did you find out that they were fictional?
I thought that she was writing her actual story. She omitted a lot of parts of her story and she changed it to make it sound nicer. And that was like kind of broke my heart, to be honest with you. So.
I'm talking like about flying houses and Dorothy and talking
lions
and
not Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz is obviously fictional. I'm talking about Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, Little House on the Prairie. That was, bro, me and Little House on the Prairie go way back. That was like my first books that I started reading.
And then
Pa, Ma, get the deer, Ma, slice the dog, Pa, blah 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 blah.
A book recording. Anyways, one of my most favorite books is Chomp by Carl Hyacin. I like a lot of his books, actually. Mm-hmm. These are all children's books, though. I read Man in Black about Johnny Cash, Steve Jobs.
Men in Black?
It was a good book. Steve Jobs, which was about Steve Jobs, and the starting of Apple, which was really interesting. It was a really thick book.
What was Steve Jobs about? I wonder.
No,
I want to read that, actually. It does seem really interesting for me.
And then one of the stories really that I've gotten interested into recently is Into the Wild, which is about Christopher McCandless, the guy who walked to Alaska or hitchhiked to Alaska and then went out into the wilderness and survived on berries.
That's cool.
In a bus. So I read The Wild Truth, which was by his sister. I've never read Into the Wild, which Dad was like,
Into the Wild, is that about that wolf? Into the Wild, it's like a fictional book. Or maybe that's White Fang.
White Fang.
Yeah, but there's one. There's like a classic book that's Something Wild that I read that I really liked. That's a old fictional book.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
That's probably not it, though.
Something Wild.
Yeah. All right. For me, the stuff that got me into reading, that like made me really like reading, was Roald Dahl. Those books, his fictional books, were so good. Like how he describes stuff. The Witches, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Fantastic Mr. Fox, and the Twits. I really like that book.
The Twits was weird, though. They were just so mean to each other.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, that's why I like it. And the Percy Jackson, bro. Oh my gosh, I love those books. The first 5, 12-year-old me obsessed over the Percy Jackson books. And people still read those to this day. Mr. Rick Riordan or something like that. Yeah. I like his books. And then going more to the future, I like War of Art and Stephen Pressfield. I like all of his books, and this other one called Gates of Fire, which is the inspiration of the movie, the 300 movie, you know? That one's cool. And then what else? Mostly just like books that are non-fictional now, that have like a lot of knowledge, that are about someone, like this Albert Einstein book I read part of. I never finished it, but I read part of it that I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't know why I never finished it. I think I lost it somewhere. It was called like Einstein Genius.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I read a book about Hacksaw Ridge. That was pretty interesting. I liked that book.
Hacksaw Ridge. Oh, the war?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That movie's good.
Never saw the movie. Oh, wait, I did see the movie, actually. I read the
Andrew
book.
Garfield, yeah. He's good
Andy.
movie. All right, I think that's all the books that I have. Oh, and then the one I mentioned was Wonder. That was a good book that I read when I was a kid. And Holes. And Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin and Hobbes are the books that I read when I was like really, really little.
That's enough.
That was really, really funny.
Yeah.
You read Calvin and Hobbes too, don't?
On Saturdays,
Don't
yeah.
I?
I mean, it's
Marvel
still
comics,
relevant
too.
now. Like, if you look back, I mean, it was.
I don't
more
like
funny when
reading
you
them
were
now,
little, but
unfortunately, but they were so funny back then. the Calvin
I
and
saw
Hobbes.
you reading them the other day.
No. I was.
All right. Fourth question is just for me, fortunately. I have a poetry account on Instagram, and I have been posting a poem
You
a
don't
day
need to. You don't need to shout it out.
for
You just need to
almost
say the
300
question.
days, and I'm doing it for a year. Someone was asking like what were some of the challenges, and then what I have learned over the course of doing that. Challenges.
And you have not missed a day, right?
Oh no, whenever I miss a day, I do 2 poems on the next day. That's happened a couple times. Okay. But the biggest challenge is that like some days I just feel like I have nothing worth writing, but I'll have to come up with something, so I'll post something and I'll like put it in the caption. I'll be like, this poem is really crappy, like I didn't want to post this, but I keep on doing that, and it's gotten easier in a way, but I also feel like I feel like I had to like access some part of me to like keep on creating content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What I've learned is that it was a hard decision to make to like do that for every day for a year, but like once I made that decision, once I started doing it after the first few months,
what made you decide to do that?
Smoother. Oh, well, Dove, remember when we had goal meetings?
Oh yeah.
She suggested writing a poem for like one of my goals, and I was like, that's
that's
stupid.
where
I
it
should
came
write
from?
multiple poems. But then I started writing a poem, and then I was like, oh, I want to write another one, and another one, and another one. And then before I knew, I had 50 poems. And I was like, they just keep on coming. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night with a poem in my head, and I would be like, or I would be just like on a run, and I would be thinking, and then I'd come up with, I'd be like, oh, that would be a good one. So then I was like, I don't know what to do with these. So then I just decided to do that. And I feel like that's something that like after it ends, I want to either do again, continue, or do something else like every day of the year, like for a year, you something stupid, like
Reminds me.
write a chapter of a book.
Yeah. Reminds me of my brother from another mother. Shout out Shakespeare. William Shakespeare. Yeah, that's some more backstory.
What? Okay.
Writing Romeo Juliet.
That's like a play.
Yeah, but it's a book too. I read it. You can't tell me it's not
What does that
because I
have to
read
do
it.
with poetry?
I don't know. Poetry and books. Same thing, really.
Okay. Whatever.
I'm just kidding. But I like your poems, but they don't rhyme, so.
Most of them rhyme. The majority of them rhyme, probably, like I'd say.
What's your best one that rhymes?
I don't memorize them. So.
He had a big heart. He's trying to hold enough.
Okay. Okay.
The food he ate was really tart.
Question. Do you feel like you're more like mama or dada? And then which sibling do you feel like you're most similar to and most different from?
I'll go first. I feel like the sibling question. I'm probably most like you, actually.
Don't flatter
which
yourself.
is actually there's like no similarities between us, but just like looking from other people, We're just like the most alike. Like there's Dove and Memory.
Well, I feel like if we were in each other's situations, we would be doing the same things. We're just in different situations.
True. And the person I'm least like is, I would say, Dove, maybe. Because there's some similarities that me and Dove have that are actually like pretty spot on. Like if we're pushed into some situations with pressure, we'll do like the same things sometimes. But besides that, like we don't look anything alike. So
people have actually been starting to say that we all like, you can tell that we're all related.
No, not for Dove because she's blonde, or Rainier. But my parents, I would say overall probably my dad, but there are some things that I do take after my mom that I'm like, whoa, that's something my mom would do. Like my sense of humor.
Yeah, I would have said that.
Yeah, definitely from my mom. And this jawline, definitely from my mom.
All right.
And this cute face, well, I'll give credit to both of them. But.
That doesn't exist. I feel like the sibling that I'm most similar to is probably Memory or you. Probably more you and then Memory. And then the sibling that I'm least similar to
opposites, though.
Is Rainier, because he's like a crazy extrovert and just has all this energy and always wants to do something, you know. I mean, I always want to do something, but I don't really go around asking people to do something with me. That's also his age. He's really young, so we'll see. Maybe, you know, you never know. And I feel like when I was younger, a lot of people said I was like my mom. But now that I'm older, I feel like I'm more like my dad. Other people might say differently. I don't really know. Maybe I'm just a good mix of both of them. All right. How much time do we have? Because we only have one question left.
Like 5 more minutes.
Okay. Will you do another through hike is the last question.
Maybe. I mean, I really enjoyed this last through hike. Looking back at it, especially, and I know it's like
almost
really
5
hard,
years
though.
ago.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe that. But I can definitely see myself doing another through hike in the future, like maybe with
I don't know
different people.
Will I ever give myself the time of day to do another through hike? I feel like that's such a huge commitment. Like I definitely want to hike in the future, but like another through hike is like.
Well, it's something
like
that
put your life on hold. For
well, we talked about it before, but yeah, you basically like quit your life for 6 months and then go on this long walk.
Yeah.
Quit your job.
Pray that you'll still be sane on the other end because you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what you'll want afterward. Like, there's just like such a weird feeling after the through hike that you're like, what do I do now? Yeah. No miles to walk.
It's like the line in Lord of the Rings. If Frodo's like, how do you pick up the old threads of your life after, like, when he comes back to the Hobbiton?
Yeah,
after,
it's
like,
exactly like
whatever,
that.
Saving the world.
Because
like
hiking from the Shire to Mordor ain't easy, bro. It's a nice 2,200-mile walk. It's called the Appalachian Trail. But I can, like I said, I can definitely see myself doing another through hike in the future, like maybe the Pacific Crest Trail or something like that. But
yeah.
Way in the future.
After you've lost everything.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, all right. Well, thanks for asking all the questions. If you have more questions to ask, too bad. That was your one chance to ask a question because we're probably not going to be doing another Q&A for a good amount of time. Maybe we can do one like every 5 episodes. So.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for listening and or watching, and thanks for submitting your questions.
What was your favorite question? That's my question.
I'm not going to say that.
My favorite question
like, oh, I wish they would say mine.
Was gotta be a tie between the Christian beliefs and the favorite books or podcasts. The Christian belief, we could definitely dive deeper on that one, but we're going to save that for another episode because that's just a rabbit hole that we can go down for.
Topic.
That'll last for a while, like the whole another episode's worth. So.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Oh, we should do a New Year's resolution podcast. Or is it too late to do that? Probably too late. But do you have any New Year's resolutions right now?
No. I did sit down to write like all the things that I've done this year because I wanted to reflect.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do my resolutions tomorrow.
You're doing resolutions? I feel like resolutions are just setting yourself up to either be confused or disappointed. You'll be like, why didn't I do that? And why am I such a failure?
No, it's
because,
just something that I would like.
Also, my goals change. That's the thing. That's the biggest thing, really. Actually, maybe I will do resolutions. I think I will, actually.
Well, and on top of that, when you do change, it is a way to see yourself and your interests and your wants to change. You know, you're like, oh, I wanted that at the beginning of the year. That's weird. And just to see how much you change, because that really happened for this year. I made a lot of resolutions. Man,
there's so much I could talk about Christian beliefs, because there's this thing where they're like, get an egg, like an egg-shaped piece of paper, and write down something that you really want God to grant, or for God to come true, to make come true, or make happen. And then put it in a book. And then when the egg has cracked, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. And then I did that. That, for some reason, feels like New Year's resolutions. Like, it reminds me of that. Like, you just write it down, and then you don't see it for a long time. And then you're like, wait, I wanted that?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, we'll get more into that in a future episode. Next week, we might either have a special guest, or we'll talk about the house update, which would be really interesting. But
man, you look messed up.
We'll say that for a surprise. Bro, I'm so
There's stuff
sick
coming
right
out
now.
of your eyes.
I did not want to do this episode because I'm
all right, goodbye for real this time.
Yeah, hope you don't get any sickness in that, because it's gonna suck.
Through the microphone. Stop it.
All right, I love everyone who listens to this podcast.
Stop.
We'll see you guys next week.